Hello, and welcome to the Three Questions podcast, where we dive deep into the world of wealth management and connect you with industry experts. I'm your host, Wayne Baxter, Senior Executive Manager at One Capital Management. If you or someone close to you are considering hiring a luxury concierge service to assist with solving day-to-day challenges and staying organized so you can focus on what matters, you are not going to want to miss today's episode. Our topic: the three questions high net worth professionals and families and businesses should ask about concierge services. Thank you for taking time to check us out. And if you enjoyed this episode of the Three Questions podcast, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our podcast and YouTube channels. As professionals and families become more globally mobile, concierge services are not just a luxury, but really a necessity for those looking to optimize their time, security, privacy, and overall quality of life in today's fast-paced, complex world. Alix Stark is a partner and head of business development with Toronto, Ontario-based Modern Concierge, Inc., and she has joined us today to assist us in addressing the three questions high net worth professionals, families, and businesses should ask about concierge service. Alix, we finally made it. Great to see you. Thank you for making time to be available to chat with us. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we do. Thanks for having me.
I want to say this, before we get to the questions, I think it would be a good idea, if we take 2 or 3 minutes here just to talk a little bit about Modern Concierge, Inc., really from the standpoint of just making sure that everybody is up to speed here. What is a concierge, for example? I think a lot of that term is kind of maybe a bit more maybe of an obscure sort of comprehension for people. So why don't you just take a few minutes and just tell us about the company and what they do?
Yeah, sure. So I think a lot of people know a few types of concierges, right? There's a credit card concierge and then
Right.
a hotel concierge. And I think people really know that concept, right? They get what a hotel concierge does. They get what a credit card concierge does. But we're a personal concierge. And essentially, we are a luxury lifestyle management company designed to give busy entrepreneurs their most valuable asset back, which is their time,
Right.
and then allow them to use that time to do the things that they really want to do and help them really enjoy their lives the way that they want to. So essentially, we're a virtual personal assistant for your life, handling everything from travel planning to restaurant reservations, and then also securing exclusive experiences, managing household tasks. But we bring that exclusivity and that access to their personal lives every day, as opposed to just when they're staying at a hotel. And then
So
on
is this
top of
service available? Just a quick question. I just thought of
yeah,
this. Is this service available to folks in both Canada and the US?
absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect.
Our home is Toronto. We started in Toronto, but we are Canada and US wide, and our access is global. So if you want to go to Wimbledon or you want to go to the F1 Grand Prix in Monaco, we've got access to all of that.
All right. So then we're going to focus here on understanding the three questions
Ooh.
and just, I think to myself, you know, I just can't help but think about it from my standpoint.
Mhm.
I've seen firsthand, because of the nature of my practice, you know, with high net worth professionals, families, and businesses, the need for advice and services. That's what they are coming to. And I think more than ever, people seem to be more willing than ever to delegate, especially families, with high demand careers. There's a growing desire, for experiences, that are tailored to their tastes or lifestyles. And standard services just really can't provide that.
Yeah.
And I would add that the wealthier, more successful clients become, the more unique and personalized their needs are. Now, that's from my point of view. Now, with that being the case, I develop customized wealth management strategies that take into consideration my clients' cash flow, their estate, their tax, their risk management concerns, their investment needs, and not just for the today, not just for the now, but for 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. And in doing so, I rely on a team of very carefully selected experts, each of them with a high level of knowledge and skill in these key financial areas. So having a concierge service like Alix and her team provides us yet another area that can be a resource. So that's why when we first met Alix, I said, this is really somebody I really want to connect with and get to know. So
Yeah.
I would just, I see really cohesion in regards to how the work that you do at Martin Concierge complements the work that we do as a wealth management firm.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. High net worth individuals and families, especially those in like demanding careers, are
Right.
always looking for ways to
And with
optimize.
kids, especially if they have
And with
raising
kids, yeah,
kids.
they're always looking for ways to optimize their time enhance their lifestyle and spend time with their kids or spend time with their wife or their husband or their significant other. And so we work a lot with wealth management firms, right? Because they they are very focused on the financial and we're focused on the day to day. And it's a great value add for them because their clients are looking for that holistic support of
Right.
I need my finances, but now that I have the money and I've worked hard and someone's taking care of the financial side of it for me, how do I spend the money? Right.
Right. Well, that's a
And
big part
so,
of cash flow planning. Like this is to me where the correlation is,
yeah,
like at the core of a lot of the advice that we provide is based on a client's cash flow.
yeah.
So understanding, how they can spend or how much they can spend and plan, and this is where they can then interact with you and say, well, here's our annual budget, and how can you help us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the correlation. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so we're gonna discuss. So here's the idea for today's podcast. We're gonna discuss the three questions high net worth professionals, families, and business should ask about concierge services. So Alex, let's not delay any further. Let's get right to the questions.
Sure.
And these are from the perspective of the actual client. Okay. So
Yeah.
question number one. What level of personalization and proactivity should I expect from concierge services? So, Alex, take it away.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that not all concierge services are created equal, right? You can get anything from you have to call and make a request. So no proactivity, no personalization at all. That's typically your credit card concierge, right? Where you want something and they offer a small list of things and you can send an email and they'll get back to you within 48 hours and you may or may not get what you asked for. And then it can go all the way up to your concierges paying your parking tickets for you or planning your kids' birthday party or your anniversary trip. And I think one of the things that sets us apart is our proactivity, kind of no matter what membership you're on. So we have memberships that start at $5,000 a year and go all the way up to like 60,000 plus. But every single one of our concierges takes the time to get to know their client, no matter what membership they're on. And they do an onboarding with them. And so in that onboarding, they get to know their client and then they keep track of requests. So
We
if
call
you
that
call
we call that in the financial world the KYC. So you have your own know your client.
Right, exactly. So our concierges are expected to know their clients. And I think that's really important if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for your time back, if you're looking for someone to really enhance your life, they have to know you, right? And they have to know your family. They have to know what your kids like. If you're calling and asking for gifts for your kids or gifts for your wife, our concierges want to know, well, what do they like, right? We're not just going to send you a list of 10 things that 10-year-olds like. We're going to say, okay, what does your son actually like? What does he like to do for after school activities. And then we'll curate a list of things that we actually think your son will like, not just any 10-year-old.
Yeah, it
Um,
was kind of like that was kind of leading into what my next question was going to be, just on my own. My follow-up was just
yeah.
how do you learn about your client's preferences? I mean, there's a lot, you can get quite involved in that process.
Absolutely. So there's a few ways. Obviously, the first is that onboarding. And again, I think it's really important for someone to give us as much information as they're able to. But at the beginning, when you're starting with us, that 30 minutes to 60 minutes is not going to give us a complete overview of your whole life,
Pretty
right? And
difficult, yeah.
yeah, so we learn over time, right? Our concierge, because you get that one concierge or two concierges and everything's tracked. The first time that you call and make a request, we'll say, actually, a great example of this is restaurant reservations, right? If you call and you say, hey, I really want to go to this steakhouse downtown, and then you call us back, or we're in contact with you and you say, yeah, that steakhouse was amazing, we really loved it, and oh, and by the way, we don't eat seafood, so don't ever send us to a seafood restaurant, right? And then the next time you call and they say, hey, we're going to Miami for vacation for 2 weeks, can you give us some restaurant recommendations? We aren't going to then send you restaurant recommendations that are seafood based, because now we know that you don't like seafood, right? And
Mhm.
so what I would like doesn't really matter, right? What we need to, as a company and as our concierges do, um, is make sure that we're really knowing the client and what they like, so that we can offer them like really personalized recommendations. And then as we get to know them and the longer that they're with us, the more that we can do that for them.
Right. So
Yeah.
very involved, very heavy on the discovery, really getting to know the client and tracking everything, staying in touch, and basically just basically curating all this information so that you're always prepared when they reach out to you, that you're not always starting from scratch, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so Alex, question number two.
Yeah.
I'm used to booking my own flights, hotels, dinner reservations. Why do I need a concierge?
I mean, here's the thing. No one needs a concierge, right? Everyone is capable. Every one of our clients is capable of booking their own flight, booking their own trips, whatever it is. But the people who use us and our members, they just value their time more than booking a trip, right? They value their time more than doing that research. They want to use that time to work on their business, or to spend time with their kids that are growing so quickly, or spend time on dates, or spend time on their health, which is always a really big one. And is that people tend to be able to spend time on their business and spend time on with their kids, but that third health aspect of it, a lot of people have difficulty finding time to work out, to meditate, to do those things. And so really valuing your time and what you're doing with your time is very important for our clients. And I think that is one of the biggest differences, is that you're not coming to us because you can't do it, right? You're coming to us because you don't want to do it and you value your time enough to not do it. The other thing that we do really, really well is, because we know our clients so well, and we've been doing this for 13 years, we have insight that you might not have, right? So we had a client who was going to the French Open, and they had requested us to book a hotel for them. We got them into the French Open, we got the tickets for the French Open. We were planning this whole trip for them, but they said we really want to stay at this hotel. And so, because we know this client, we said, okay, that's a great hotel, but just so you know, as an additional option, if you stay at this other hotel, we can get you a reservation at the Hermes store in Paris, which I don't know if you know much about Hermes and how they work, but they've got quite a system within themselves, and you can't book an appointment at the Hermes in Paris without being on Wi-Fi, like Paris Wi-Fi. So the only way to get this appointment is if they stayed at this other hotel, and the other hotel was a better hotel. It was just 10 minutes further away or a little bit further away. And so we were able to kind of enhance that experience for them without them even asking, because we knew them well enough to be able to do that. And we have the experience to know that if you stay at this hotel, you're going to get an experience that you didn't even know existed.
So there's a little bit of intuitiveness there as well. Uh,
Exactly.
Perfect, perfect. Alex Starks joins us. She's with Marty and Concierge. She's based out of Toronto, Ontario, my former home. Okay, Alex, let's go to question number 3.
Yeah, for sure.
How do your services integrate with my existing lifestyle and business operations?
Yeah. So first and foremost, we're not here to take over an EA's job.
Yeah, yeah,
Many people say like, oh, I already have an EA. I don't need you. I don't need a concierge. And your EA is invaluable. I would never ever try to take your EA's place. We're typically there to support them, because while your EA is working on your business, helping you file things, going through emails, booking appointments for you, ensuring everything is running smoothly in your business,
right,
we're here to help you on your personal side, right? And your EA really typically shouldn't be finding you a plumber, and probably doesn't have the access to get you into that
right,
restaurant you want to go to, right? So a lot of EAs will then utilize us. So if you're really close with your EA and you love them, and they are your sidekick and they are everything for you, a lot of people will hire us to then support them, to say anything that you don't want to do, or you is on my personal side, I'm going to give it to you, EA. But then if you want to pass it off to Modern Concierge and get them to do it, or you want their support because you're too busy, then do that. And so we'll work through the EA to make sure that the personal side is taken care of, but the EA is still their like sidekick.
all right. So I was just, it's funny you even brought this up, because I was going to ask about that, for a business owner, and because they all have general rule of thumb, they have a support team, for lack of a better word. So what you're sharing with me here is that more often than not, the relationship is almost as much with the support people, the executive assistant or whoever on their team ends up being the person you interact with just as much, if not more, than the actual client over a period of time.
Yeah, so it's probably 20% of our clients do that. Some of our clients just they really love to work with us. But if their EA is there and they've already been taking care of their personal life, then they'll just integrate. We also have, I mean, we work with personal assistants too, and like home managers who again just want that access, right? And we I think one of the things that we've done really, really well and took advantage of over COVID was growing out that network of people across Canada and the US. And so house managers, they'll call us and say, hey, I need a plumber, or I need a pool guy. And so they'll call us for those things. They'll still be there and manage the whole thing when the person gets there, but we're the person they call to get the best person. Um, and not just the best because they're the most expensive, right? Because we've been doing this for so long, we know what to look for in a vendor in order to know that they're probably going to be good. And most of the people that we work with at this point are referrals. So they're people who someone else has already worked with, that they're referring to us and saying, oh, you have to use this person. He's amazing, or they're amazing.
I think it perfectly segues into another question I think I should also ask you, is that, you know, specifically now for modern concierge, question about your company.
Yeah.
What unique partnerships or resources do you have that clients typically are not going to find with other services? This is a specific question for modern concierge.
Yeah, so I think that yeah, every company is different. I started to speak on this, but I'll elaborate a little bit more. Over COVID, we were in a really unique position where we were able to build out that vendor list. We were kind of, I think a lot of concierge companies, their clients were leaving. Our clients weren't. We were really, really embedded in their lives. So we were able to take a step back and say, okay, can we focus on building out those relationships. And so there were tons and tons of people, entrepreneurs, restaurant owners, entertainment executives who were sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. And would have a call with me that maybe pre-COVID would not have had the time to have a call with me.
Right.
So we built out that vendor list of, I think now we've got over 2,500 vendors in Canada and the US that we've vetted because we had the time to have those calls with them and say to them not only, hey, can I send people to your, when things open up, can I send people to your restaurant and will you give me that access? But also, who do you use for your cleaner? Who do you use for your plumber? Who do you use for your watch guy or your tickets? Give me the people that make your life better so that I can also offer those to my clients. And so
So,
it was really great for us to build out that list. And so it's very rare that we have to even Google or search something at this point. We if we don't know someone, we know someone who knows someone.
so I'm just trying to, envision the big picture here from 35,000 foot
Mhm.
up in the air, Alex. And
Mhm.
what I'm hearing is this is that a client could come to you on a couple of weeks in advance and say, and we'll use Miami, place
Sure.
I've actually been traveling to quite a bit lately,
Of Miami.
and for business. And so you say, I'm going to be in Miami for a week.
Mhm.
I've got meetings here. Here's my work schedule. In between all of that, I need I want to go see a show. I need dinner reservations every night, um, et cetera, et cetera. I want to go to a spa, get a massage, uh, and basically delegate that. And basically, at the end of it all, you would come back and have almost like a full itinerary for that person.
Totally. And we would have things in there that they didn't even know that they wanted to do, right? Because they didn't know existed in Miami. So we'd reach out to our people in Miami and say, hey, what's going on this week? Our client likes XYZ. Do you have anything in that realm? They're probably not going to spend more than this budget. And then we'll come back and say, okay, here are the best restaurants, here are the places that we think you should go, but also this is happening and we think you'd love it. Do you want VIP access to it or do you want to go?
So, would you take the liberty of going ahead and actually scheduling, booking the reservations, like intuitively saying, okay, we know you well enough. Here's your plan. On Monday night, you're going to be going here. Like, how much, in other words, do you take the liberty of going ahead and doing a lot of this booking without getting a
We
pre?
So we will approve it. We will most of the time approve it unless we know the client is okay with us just booking it.
Mhm.
That's just relationship building on the restaurant side, right? I don't want to book a bunch of restaurants and then our clients be like, you know what, we'd rather go here and then have to
No, no,
cancel.
right. Exactly not.
So
So I
we try
think,
to get those approvals first, but normally we'll reach out to the restaurant and say, "Hey, I think we want this. Is this going to work out? Do you have
right.
space?" Or we'll make sure there's space. Um, but it's kind of we want to make sure that the client is good, but we also want to keep those relationships with the restaurants so that, or any of the vendors, so that we're not booking and canceling and booking and
Oh,
canceling.
yeah, for sure. I get that 100%. I was thinking just from my own way of thinking that
We can
I
absolutely do.
would
If you're like,
delegate to
hey,
you and say, I want you to take care of everything. I don't want to think about this. Just tell me where I'm going.
yes. And we do have clients that we do that for. And if they're happy with us doing that, then we are happy to do it. And they always have a great time. And most of the time, our clients take our recommendations anyway,
Right.
whether or not they want approval. They're normally going where we suggest that they go.
Yeah. Well, listen, you know what? We covered a lot here today, and
Yeah.
I learned a lot myself. You were very helpful.
Thank you.
Um, Before we wrap up, what advice would you give, Alix, to someone who is seriously considering retaining the services of a professional firm like yours? Like, is there something you would say, like they've heard about it, they're thinking about it, like maybe what's next steps, or what advice would you suggest? What would you say?
I would say do your research and have a call with whatever company or couple of companies that you want to go with. Having that phone call with someone in our business is so important because you have to like the person that you're working with, right?
It's a
They're
relationship
managing,
business.
yeah, they're managing your personal life. So that relationship and building that trust and having a good relationship from the start is really, really important. And you have to have a good feeling because you want to be able to trust that person that's supporting you in your personal life. So I would say just making sure that you have a phone call with them if you have any interest and really hearing how they're going to support you. Um, before jumping in because it's something that takes a bit of time for obviously that relationship to build. And so if you don't have that good feeling right off the bat, then it's probably not going to get better.
For those who've been watching along on our website today, we've included all of your contact information right on the screen so they can see, who you are, name of the company, contact information, and so on. But we have people listening on Apple, Spotify, other podcast formats, so they aren't able to see that. So for those folks that are listening in, can you share with us what is the best way for them to contact you, Alix? Because I'm sure there are going to be people who thought, I really probably should give these guys a call. So how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so the website is very easy. It's just modernconcierge.com. You can send an email to me through there or give me a call. My phone number is 647-234-2549. You can always give me a call or a text as well.
Well, listen, Alix, thank you so much. We've been talking about doing this for a while now, and really appreciate you making time for us and making yourself available.
Thanks.
Alix Stark is the partner and head of business development with Toronto, Ontario-based Modern Concierge Inc. Alix, thank you very much, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Wayne. Have a good one.
I look forward to bringing you the Three Questions podcast, and I hope you find them educational and informative. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to our podcast and YouTube channels. And to receive a notification of when our latest episodes have been posted, please click on the notifications bell. Lastly, to schedule an online consultation with me to discuss your wealth management needs, click on the link in the description box below, www.onecapital.com/meet with Wayne. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.